Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever Shorty. And today, while discussing the Batman Gotham by Gaslight of the Kryptonian Age, I have a confession to make. And it's kind of a bad one, I'm afraid, but I've never read Batman Gotham by Gaslight. And I know you're thinking, you should do. Shorty, you should. You're in a comic book store. How hard is it for you to get hold of these things and read them? And yeah, I should, but there's so many Elseworlds. One of the seminal ones, don't get me wrong, I really should have hunted it down, especially because I do like Victorian stories, and I've mentioned this before. I should have read it. I promise I'll do something about that. I'll try to. I'll make an effort to hunt it down and read it at some point. But I do say that when I review comic books like this, the best thing is if they can stand alone. Do you need to have read stuff before? Because if you do, that's actually a bit in the negative column for me. Feels like it's kind of punishing people who haven't done it. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel like if I've read this one and I had known about all this has happened before, there's probably some cool little Easter eggs and some extra features, as it were, but that's fine. That's a benefit. That's a bonus for the people who've read it. For me, who hadn't, I don't feel let down. I don't feel like there's anything I'm missing. There's no plot points that are not making sense to me. There's no setting information or characterization where I'm like, well, I feel like this would only make sense if I've read something else. It all comes together in a way which really, really works for me. And it works in a variety of ways. First off, time setting wise, yes, absolutely. The prelude scene is the Kents in 1860s going to the wild frontier to claim a parcel of land for themselves, very much the Wild West genre thing. And then 1890, I believe, for the actual bit set in the Gotham, an East Coast American city near the turn of the century, and I like all of that setting kind of stuff straight away. I mean, when I was reviewing Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, that's what I was saying. This is why this period is interesting, because it can do that kind of thing. And it also is interesting because it's a period where technically you can look at seeing a lot of things change, like in terms of technology and where power is and stuff like colonialism, all these kind of things changing and causing rapid change in places. But also there's stuff where people are trying to keep things the same as always. And here we introduce Selina Kyle, Lady Selina Kyle, a widow from a very wealthy man who is using her money to actually do some good. She basically sets up foundations to help women who are on the street with children, and she's actually going out and engaging with them to try and find out what she can do to help. She's also robbing the hell out of people using her position of power as a woman of means to get into places she's not supposed to go to. All of this is fantastic. She also totally understands that the police at the time are a servant of capital and patriarchy and are incredibly corrupt and doing terrible, terrible things, and she tries to stop that. And one of my favourite bits, we have a woman of wealth and distinction, not Selina, somebody else, who is an overt agent of the patriarchy, basically talking about respectability politics and policing women's appearance and presentation, and attitudes and activities. This is all very much to show that it isn't just people at the top end who try to gain from patriarchy keep in place. Anyone who can benefit from it does keep it going. And if you don't think there's such thing as women who are into patriarchy, I've got some long-form video essays I can send you. But in this comic book, it's just a nice little plot point that shows a good knowledge of the time period, and it shows that they really have put some effort into figuring out how it all comes together and works. It's Andy Diggle who's writing it, and I've got to be honest, I do like all that, but what I loved is the dialogue. There are periods where you've got characters talking to each other, and you just want to say the words out loud. It feels like it's the kind of thing which should be spoken, and to my mind, a couple of times I was throwing some accent work in there, and I'm not going to lie, the dialogue has good mouthfeel. It sounds and feels wonderful. It sounds luscious to say some of these sentences. There's a very naturalistic way he's got of putting stuff together to get his points across that just adds to the world and adds to the characters. Genuinely fantastic dialogue. Story-wise, it is action-packed, there is intrigue, and there's literally a fight on top of a moving train at one point, and here we do have to talk about the artwork, because all these things look fantastic, but I do have to give some criticism. It is very much criticism laced with a whole bunch of love, though, because some things I loved about this are the setting. The costume design, character design, city design, stuff on the outside of all this, and yes, the action sequences, all absolutely brilliant. There's a wonderful couple of shots of Gotham from the slums to the wharfs to, the train station, to the opulence of a museum, and all these things are fantastic. But then the artist also does a little thing which bugs me a little bit, which is, especially in a position where we're in the museum and it should be surrounded by opulence and showing how different the wealth levels are, we instead fall into that trap of just doing gradiated colouring as nothing but for the background. And I feel like when you have the opportunity to show the difference through what's in the rooms Selina is in, not taking the advantage to do that is a little bit of a waste, and that's a shame. Didn't stop me enjoying it, but it was there. It's just a little thing that's going to just bug me a little bit. But anyway, I did enjoy it, and I promise I'll try and dig out the original and give it a read. That's it for me today. There's still several things I want to review this week. You might even get a bonus review. If you do want to make sure you don't miss out on any of those, do the social media thing. Until I see you again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.